All right, welcome back. Back to Georgia, everybody, where more than 2.5 million Georgians have already cast ballots by mail or by voting in person, setting a new early voting record in the state. NBC's Sahil Kapoor is in Atlanta, Georgia for us with more. Sahil, talk to us. 3 days out, right? Tight Senate race. You got a governor's race as well. Where do things stand?
Well, Yasmin, it is a neck-and-neck race for the U.S. Senate between Democratic incumbent Raphael Warnock and the Republican challenger Herschel Walker. Let's put this polling average up on the screen. It is now within 0.2 of a percentage point, with Walker down the final stretch, closing the gap quite dramatically. Early voting in the state ended yesterday, and it has broken records. 2.5 million Georgians cast their ballot early. That's according to the Secretary of State's office. It breaks down with an advantage of 49% for Democrats to 42% Republicans. About 70% of them are 50 and up. Most of them are women, 56% to 44% men. Now, there are a few things down the stretch looking to Election Day that will decide which of these candidates ultimately prevails. The first is turnout. How are the red rural areas going to turn out? That's MAGA country. Republicans need that. The Democrats, are they going to be able to produce the same kind of strong turnout that they showed last cycle, which was crucial to their victory in 2020? And then the bigger question, if both bases show up, as it looks like they will, how are these suburban voters in places like the Atlanta metro area, college-educated, moderate, maybe even center-right, used to support Republicans but couldn't do it anymore in the era of Donald Trump? They shifted to Democrats. Can Raphael Warnock hold on to those voters? Because there is a crossover element. It's Republican Governor Brian Kemp who is winning those quite clearly as he mounts a lead against Democratic challenger Stacey Abrams, but Warnock is doing much better with that set of voters. That is going to answer one of the biggest questions all over the country in the 2022 elections, Yasmin, and that is, are the suburbs becoming part of the realignment for Democrats in a post-Trump era, the way the rural areas have moved toward the Republicans, or were the suburbs simply on rental for the Democrats while Donald Trump was president? Republicans are eager to show that Georgia is still a red state, that they can still win it back, and Democrats are equally determined to show that 2020 was not a one-off situation. Here's Nikema Williams, the chair of the state Democratic Party in Georgia, which he told me.
We elected our first Jewish senator from the state of Georgia, first black senator from the state of Georgia, and people tried to tell us it wasn't possible. And so we have an opportunity to show that 2020 wasn't just a fluke. 2020 was about years and years of organizing on the ground, and the voters here in Georgia flexing their power, showing their power at the polls, and that's what we're looking to replicate.
And Yasmin, if neither of these two candidates gets 50% or more on Tuesday on election night, it will go to a runoff on December 6th.
We will be watching. Sahil Kapoor, thank you.